It's a pleasure today to have in our studio Mr. Azar Zubi, who needs no introduction. He is a versatile genius of our country, known as a painter, sculptor, calligraphist and interior decorator. Mr. Zubi has extensively traveled abroad and has exhibited his works there and in Pakistan. He was the ex-principal of Central School of Art and an ex-lecturer at the ISMEO at Rome and Italy. Presently, he is working as the principal of his School of Decoration. Today, we would like to ask him a few questions. Mr. Zubi, where did you take your art education from and when did you start your art career?
Well, I started my career in 1940, 41, roundabout, before partition. And I completed my course of 4 years course at Mayo School of Arts. In those days it was known as, and today it is National College of Arts.
National College of Arts.
In sculpture particularly, and I studied painting also.
Right.
Then I went to Italy on Italian scholarship, and a couple of years I've been there. And during all this time I've been painting on my own, doing sculptures and showing it to the people, and that's all.
Mr. Zubi, you are considered as one of the old masters and pioneers of art in Pakistan. Are you satisfied with the progress made in the field of art in Pakistan? If not, then do you have any suggestions?
Well, I'm sorry to say that I'm not very happy about the progress our Pakistani artists have made, and they're doing whatever they're doing. I'm not very happy about that.
Right.
I would like to say about the progress,
Right.
about which I'm not very much happy, because the trend here nowadays, the new artists are adopting, it's not very constructive.
Right.
They have started doing things easily done.
I mean, they're not taking any pains or efforts.
Oh yes, they are not doing at all, and they are not taking any pain to do something. They're just doing whatever it is done easily, could be done easily. And anything which is done easily is not, you see, worthwhile for the... Because pain is one of the most important elements, you see. Human being has been awarded by the nature. Pain is the most delicious element.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, then your suggestions would be we should have put more effort into our work.
Yes, of course, because art is a medium of expression.
Right.
An artist is supposed to be the barometer of the society.
Right.
And if he does not take, unless he doesn't take any pain of observation for observing his surroundings,
Right.
he can't say anything. And any art which does not say anything is useless. Worth.
Well, Mr. Zubi, you must have seen people asking you questions that why there is such a long gap in your painting exhibitions. Why have you left this field since so many years?
Well, I don't want to say anything, you see, about certain people, so-called. I would say one of the elements I can tell you, that certain people who are in those days on the helm of the affairs as art critics of Pakistan, so-called art critics of Pakistan, you see, due to certain weaknesses of their own personal, they became enemies of me. They started trying their best to omit my name from they used to say very high about me.
Right.
They used to print my name in magazines and government publications and all that. After that, they certainly decided not to do it. This is one of the reasons. And then, you see, later on, I never cared about it. Later on, I started feeling that after having, doing for so many years in this field, doing something, still I don't know anything. The point is what to show to the people. I don't have to show anything. I don't do worth showing to the people.
But you mean you have been working for so many years?
Yes, of course I'm doing. Even today I'm doing.
Right.
Every day I do work. I do paint or do some sculpture, and I do something.
But you don't think it's worth showing to the public or something?
Well, I don't think so. It's a very humble the things they are.
Do you feel that you're not innately satisfied with it?
I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied at all. I wish I could do something.
I'll ask you, Mr. Zubi, do you think there is a communication gap between our young artists and senior painters? I think there does exist a gap. Well, what is the solving point with you?
Well, this generation gap and this gap...
Here we are coming to the communication gap.
The communication gap, you see, this is due to the, I would say, is political upheavals, you see, all over the world. And then in our country particularly, I would say there are no good institutions where the artists could be
Meeting
educated
places,
and
yes.
they could be trained well, properly. And there are no communications even, you see, with the senior artists also.
Right.
They are aloof, they are sitting in their own corners and they are doing whatever they could do, and they are not, you see, very much familiar with they are not near the public due to the reasons, you see, so because they are doing proper whatever they think, and they are not doing, you see, abstract.
Mm-hmm.
So they are ignored. This is the most of the important reasons.
Well, being a very junior artist myself, a question pricks my mind that why the art of today is not so popular and energetic. Does it not lack the force and coordination which would make it live longer and everlasting?
What?
Do you
Today's
agree?
art?
Yes.
Today
Art
this
of today.
abstract art?
Yes, you could call abstract art of today. It's not so
Well,
everlasting.
Well, this is an experiment, you can say, and experiment of the people who don't want to work.
Right.
They are just wasting their time. It might be, you see, when the history of the art in general will be written and compiled, it might be there in the corner somewhere. You see, well, in 70s or in 60s or something, you see, this sort of experiments are being done.
Mm.
But they are not the proper, you see, they are not representing today's difficulties, today's problems of the society.
Mm-hmm. Here most of the art is being dished out as contemporary. People are inquisitive to know that what actually our painters are trying to say, what vision of life they are projecting, and what purpose their art is serving. Would you like to throw some light on this?
Actually, whatever these today's modern artists, so-called, they are doing, they are repeating the lessons of the grammar, the alphabets of the art. If you have happened to see great masters' paintings, you must have observed that the flow, the texture, the line, the space, and all these things which are the grammar of and the alphabets of the art were there and are there, without which, you see, no painting can exist or a sculpture can't exist.
Right.
The point is why, you see, these people are doing without any subject. You see, actually, art is based for the betterment of the humanity.
Right. What would you like to say about the superficial approach of some of our young talents towards art? They get appreciation and success goes in their head. They slacken their efforts and ultimately recede into the oblivion. Don't you think that we are still grouping in the dark by this? We're not building any base?
I've already directed, you see, about this thing. That is, number one is art critics, so-called art critics. Number one.
Right.
Number two, the evening papers, daily papers or something.
Well, you
papers.
hold responsible the
They
critics
are
for this?
responsible of, you see, flattering them with the wrong words,
Undue encouragement, you mean?
and with which, you see, they die before they are.
Before getting alive, you mean to say. Mr. Zubi, roughly what would you say on organizing art as a dynamic social movement in Pakistan?
Art for what? I mean, there should be some purpose.
Purpose,
Do you have got
yes.
any purpose in Pakistan, in society? Definitely, art is one of the most important field and medium. First of all, you will have to have some purpose, some movement
Right.
to say something. This is the art of expression, the medium of expression. Such like, you see, in those days in Christianity. Christianity was much more popularized by the artists,
Right.
not by the popes, not by the priests,
Right.
by the sculptors, by the painters. The world knows about that. The same way we as Pakistanis have got something to convey to the world, and even to say something to our society. We should know what we are saying, and the artist should know what he is.
What he's saying. But do you ever incline to appreciate our national characteristic in our art and culture, and do you depict them in your paintings?
Of course I do. I do. I am very much, you see, fascinated by the man, and a common man,
Common man.
laborer, a man who harvests the land, he who sings for others. I mean, the children, the flowers, the beautiful elements, you see, are all around us. This is all these are my subjects, and particularly all those, besides all these subjects, I've got certain other metaphysical subjects also. The relationship, the phenomena of the nature, the life, you see, We have got so many things we have to learn from that. We are trying our best to learn, to know something, the mystery of the life.
We have to discover.
Yes, we have to. We are, since ages, we are trying our best. Human beings is trying his best to discover all this,
Right.
the phenomena of the nature.
Well, we come to your interior decoration side. You being the first interior decorator in Pakistan, do you find any good scopes for it in our country?
Well, naturally, we, not only in Pakistan, all over the world, wherever you see the human being is, he is interested to live in a better form, in a better way, as far as possible. And the interior decoration, the teaching and the knowledge makes the knowledge, makes the man, enriches the knowledge of the how to live properly. And there is a lot of scope in Pakistan. I've seen since last 5 or 6 years I'm running this school, and people have taken a lot of interest in that, and they have come to know certain new points.
They widen their outlook actually.
Yes,
coming
of
to
course.
school. You said that when the urge towards identification ceased, some of our artists took up the art of Arabic calligraphy. In this sense, they broke up the bonds of their culture and native environment. Do you agree with it?
Well, in those days, human figure was a little bit abandoned,
Right.
forbidden not to copy that or not to do that. So the talent, the flow of the talent of the human beings
Diverted.
was diverted, and it took its own way, formed its own pavement, and started doing calligraphy in a different form. And there are hundreds and thousands and specimens of the calligraphy old masters have done. Beautiful.
Well, we Muslims have a whole history of calligraphy behind us. Did you have this in mind when you started doing calligraphy?
I started as a subject.
As a subject.
As a subject of as one of the important subjects of the as a medium of the painting and drawing and art in general. It's way of expression. You say something, all like not of your own, of some other, the God, of the Prophet. You say something, you present it in a beautiful form, in a beautiful formation, presentable formation.
Well, let's come to the sculpture side, Mr. Zubi. In our society, what is the need and importance of the art of sculpture?
Well, sculpture is actually the definition of the sculpture is an element which is in 3 dimensions.
Right.
Painting and other things are usually in 2 dimensions, but in sculpture, which starts existing, anything which is not in 3 dimensions can't exist. So for the existence of anything, 3rd dimension is essential. So sculpture is one of the expressions of the 3 dimensions, and this is also very fascinating.
Very
It is
fascinating.
just like, you see, whenever I do, as a sculptor, as a piece of sculpture I feel as if I am a mother.
Right.
I can feel that piece, that is which I have done,
What you've done.
as if that is my child, my baby.
Well, do we have any traditions in sculpture? Art traditions.
What sort of traditions?
Do we have any of our traditions in sculpture? Islamic traditions.
There are so many. Why not? Why not? In even you see Middle East, you see, if you go there, you will see sculpture forms in 3 dimensions in so many various fields.
Yes.
Various fields. Unfortunately, we are not trying to do. But before partition, even you see here, there were some lot of things.
Mr. Zubi, why have our artists not been able to educate and influence the masses through the media of painting and sculpture?
You mean masses? Yes.
Yes, masses, I mean. Our painters, they haven't been able to influence or educate them through the media of painting and
To
sculpture.
understand or to do
Yes.
painting?
To understand.
Well, this is another. This is not the job of the artist, actually.
Well,
This is the job.
he has been creating things so difficult, their masses not
No,
understanding.
it is not difficult. It has no. You see, unless today's artists, they are trying to create problem paintings. Everybody is puzzled what they are doing, and they start. But the things which are really nearest to the nature and nearest to the human beings, they are not very difficult.
Right.
You can understand very easily. You can understand the language, the medium, and the expression of those paintings.
Right.
But when you start doing all those problems, you're repeating the grammatic elements on the paintings, and without any message and without any saying something, then it will be difficult.
Well, Mr. Zubi, thank you so much. In the end, we would like to thank you for sparing some of your precious time for us and having very informative discussions. Your suggestions and advices, I'm sure, will be helpful to our listeners in the long run. Thank you very much.
I thank you very much.
You have just been listening to an interview of Mr. Azar Zubi by Rifat Alvi.